Please state your full legal name for the record.
Kelly A. Burton.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Please describe for the court your educational background.
I have a master's degree from Walden University in forensic psychology. I got my PhD from Walden University in clinical psychology.
How many times have you been an expert witness?
This is my first time.
How much are you getting paid for your testimony today?
I get paid to do my job as a psychologist. I work for the government, so it's on a set salary. I get paid per year, not per court appearance or per hour. So yes, I'm being paid, but not specifically to be here.
Did you perform an evaluation on Mr. Bumble?
Yes, I did.
Why were you asked to evaluate Mr. Bumble?
I received a court order to evaluate him for competency to stand trial.
Legal definition is applicable to the referral question that you addressed when assessing Mr. Bumble.
Competency to stand trial under Title 18 U.S. Code Section 4241 was requested by the court.
What procedures and/or tests did you perform during your evaluation?
On Mr. Bumble, I performed the Wechsler Adult Intelligence Scale 3, Minnesota Multiphasic Personality Test 2, Personality Assessment Inventory, the Rorschach Ink Block Test, the Bender Motor Gestalt Test, Bender Motor Gestalt Test Immediate Recall, and the Psychopathy Checklist Revised.
What were the results of your evaluation?
Mr. Bumble is a paranoid schizophrenic. He believes that his lawyer is a drug dealer who talks to him through the television. So he's not fully aware of what's going on. He understands his crime, however, he doesn't understand the consequences of his crime.
Why do you believe that Mr. Bumble is competent or not competent to stand trial?
Mr. Bumble is incompetent to stand trial because of his illness as a paranoid schizophrenic. He knows that he committed a crime. He doesn't understand the implication. Mr. Bumble is incompetent to stand trial. He is paranoid schizophrenic. He's detached from reality. He doesn't understand the consequences of his actions. He understands that he killed somebody, but he thought it was in self-defense. He also can't participate in his defense because his lawyer, he believes, is a drug dealer who talks to him to his television.
Did you arrive at a diagnosis for Mr. Bumble?
Yes, Mr. Bumble is diagnosed as a paranoid schizophrenic.
Can you describe for the court the reasons for that diagnosis?
He's paranoid. He doesn't understand what's going on. He hears voices. He sees things. He meets all the criteria of the diagnostic manual.
Is that diagnosis considered to be a mental disease or defect?
It is a mental defect.
Why?
It's a mental defect because it's an abnormality. It's not a disease because we can correct it with medication. However, he has to stay on his medication for it to be corrected. If this was something that couldn't be corrected with medication, I would classify it as a disease, but it is a mental defect.
Do you believe Mr. Bumble understands the proceedings today?
No, he doesn't understand them fully because, as I mentioned before, he believes his lawyer is a drug dealer who talks to him through the television. And he also doesn't understand the implications of what he did. He thinks he was acting in self-defense when in actuality he wasn't. If placed on medication, he could be brought to a level where he would understand and could participate in his trial.
Do you think Mr. Bumble understands what he is charged with?
He does, but he's confused because he thinks it's in self-defense.
Do you think Mr. Bumble can work with his attorney to successfully defend himself?
No, he cannot.
Why not?
Because he believes that his attorney is a drug dealer who talks to him through the television, and that's not going to work.
Do you have any other information about Mr. Bumble that you feel would be helpful to the court?
No, nothing further other than what's in my report.
Thank you. You may step down.